Please stop using sky cams for jack. Thank you. Next. For all you flat earthers, don't say that you're attributing anything to a video of someone who said they have a image of the sun underneath the earth where Nibiru is, without acknowledging that that must indicate that you believe there's an underside to the earth, but it's flat. You're breaching contract with your alien overlord mind control. Next. Every time I see a lens flare, it annoys me. The lens flare in this case is right up there in the upper left-hand corner there, just a little ways from the north. You can barely see it. I'll leave links to the video. It's on the polar opposite, no pun intended, side of the dead center point of this wraparound bowl-shaped lens, which sacrifices image quality and color cleanup for getting a wraparound image of the sky by pointing basically straight up and having a wraparound bug eye view. See also people who complain incessantly about fisheye lenses on GoPros. Change your standards every time you run into something that disagrees with you, or use a standard. But pick which level of sane or insane you're doing. Is it on a spectrum? Next. That red lens flare isn't an extraplanet, and it is on the opposite side of the cross points that you would find for the sun in the lens, most likely. It can also be a reflection off of the interior of the lens at a slightly different angle, because again, it's a bug eye lens. There might be other optics, and it's not red or pink, it's purple. I'm joking. Next. Please do not place a compass on an iron oxide tinted brick, because it might be magnetic. That's actually how we figured out how to make ceramic magnets for speakers. People notice that bricks sometimes are magnetized. Damn it! Next. The Earth changes. We're doing polar shift and tilt. Yes, every year it tilts because it's always tilted one direction in time-space, but the Earth rotates on an axis, and that axis is tilted relative to the orbit around the sun. The moon's axis is tilted effectively in a certain way too. Do you notice that? This is how we have seasons. Therefore, the sun will rise and set slightly north and south of the east-west line, except on the equinox. At which point you will get literally a east-west lineup pretty much everywhere. I don't know if you get that. It's actually solstice, right? Right? Which is it? Help me, please. Oh, that's right. You can just go to Daz the cameraman and do his east-west lineup challenge. Now remember, because the Earth is physically tilted, the sun and set and rise lineups aren't always going to be the same during the year, but they'll be the same each year approximately. When they set perfectly, that's considered a year. You might want to look this up before you post comments on my channel. Next, the magnetic field of the Earth is very stable compared to the sun. We'll be looking at some animations because I felt like it. And yes, I had to use the Wikipedia animation and clean it up because some idiot broke it. I fixed it 2 years ago. Someone went in and fixed that again. Thanks, you. Thanks. Anyway, next. As you can see from the pixels, you get inclination and declination lines that change. Yes, there's another one. Did you know that if you use a 3D compass, it tilts slightly because the Earth is round? Yes, it causes the needle point down or up. No, it really does. Next. This is an older map. Magnetic variation. The lines are different. Let's look at this. It could be worse. You could be on the sun. There are several magnetic lines of force deviations that cause lens flares. This is what it looks like real time, 2011, March through May. So you can have lots of north and south poles, but the Earth has basically one. It moves around a little. And here we see some more crazy shit. Next. Find the magnetic declination of your area. In my area, it's off by a pretty good amount. Our liquid world. You may have noticed that even the North and South Poles do technically move. They don't move really rapidly most of the time, but they do move a little, because our Earth has a chewy nougat center that rotates on its axis. Yes. Stop using sky cams. Just stop it. Unless you're going to put a disclaimer. Warning, this is literally almost the worst possible way to measure jack. They're mostly weather cameras. They're not for finding things in our skies. They're for noticing the sky might have weather. Weather happens, you know. It happens, and seasons happen. Seasons are caused by Earth tilt. Yeah, it's always tilted. Please stop putting cheap, non-calibrated compasses on probably iron oxide bricks that may or may not have been magnetized by the last time someone used a welder or a lightning bolt hit nearby. The Earth is tilted. Acknowledge this. Grow up. Realize that the North and South Pole are pointed different directions depending on relative to the Sun. And please understand that the Sun rises and sets not due to your special snowflake universe, but because the planet is not aimed perfectly up and down. And only twice a year do you get a real east and west sunrise and sunset. You need to use better reference points, and that means actually acknowledging where you're doing your video from. Number one. Location. Everybody tries to prove otherwise from what I'm saying. They show you evidence, but they won't tell you or prove to you more accurately where they're getting their information from. Next, the Earth does not have a perfectly straightened out magnetic field. It's incredibly stable compared to the Sun, but it is not perfect. And unless you acknowledge that, you're an idiot. By the way, the magnetic North Pole rotates on its axis a gigantic number of degrees per year. Yes, it does. Within a 100-foot area at the North Pole and a 100-foot area on the South Pole, it does actually move every year. There's your pole shift. 100 feet in a circle, but it doesn't really move much. Then there's the Sun, which has chaos, agony, boiling pancreas. You can find your magnetic declination at your location. Inebriation. Yes, I rhymed it. To hell with it. Next. This is the real world, Neo, for hundreds of years, okay? You get 0 degrees tilt if you go along a nice straight line from part of the South Pole to up to, what is that, up in Wisconsin or something, from 1812 forward. So after the War of 1812, the magnetic field lined up at least kind of north to south. Actually, it's really screwed up too. So, thanks for watching. Have a good day. Good luck with that.